Where was I again? My journey was at an end when I spotted a window with moonlight pouring through it. I walked towards the window and looked in beyond the glass. I gasped in wonder and amazement as my eyes greedily took in the wonderful sight. The inky black sky was covered with stars at an endless amount, that twinkling like diamonds in the sea. I propped my chin on the sill of the window and my hand on my cheek and gazed at the stars, the feeling of nostalgia wrapping around me like a blanket. The bottom of my bare feet no longer felt the cold nipping at them. Instead, they felt the warmth that I'd been seeking for hours. But it wasn't alone. Something soft and fluffy came along the board for the journey as well. Noticing this, I turned from the beautiful galaxy sky into my new surroundings. The darkness left without a trace, and I was welcomed into a new room. The walls were doused in the color pink, plastered with ladybugs, flowers, and other girly things. The only things that weren't divided by this ugly color were the ceiling and the carpeting, which was white. Bed covers and pillows had a vibrant shade of pink, and so were little beanbags. I sighed deeply and shook my head, disapproving at the very sight. Call me mature, but I think pink is an ugly color that shouldn't even exist. Yet, the warm blanket of nostalgia was seeping into my flesh, becoming one with me. Confusion dwelled within me. Questions began to buzz in my head. But knowing my vocal cords isn't working at the moment, they sat in my mind, continuing their low, soft, humble sound. Why does this dream feel so familiar? Like I've lived here before. Then I saw a tiny figure on the top of the beanbag. Curious, I walked toward the beanbag. Every step felt like clouds thanks to the soft, plush white carpet. I shifted my head left to right, noticing things I didn't notice before. The bed was nice and straight and neat, covered with stuffed animals. As I got closer, the mysterious figure morphed into a little girl curled up like a little ball. Her shoulder-length hair was pure black and spread over the beanbag like black ink. She had on a long white dress, and I looked over her body to see and saw her arms wrapped around a pink stuffed rabbit. A sting of pain formed at the base of my skull and spread around my head. I reached to touch my temples and rubbed them, trying to soothe the pain away until I could find the nearest aspirin. Nostalgia was past my skin and muscles and dashing towards my heart, bringing loneliness, despair, and bitter betrayal. Why do I feel like this? All of a sudden my head is starting to hurt. And why do I feel so lonely, sad, and betrayed? I glanced at the stuffed animal, desperate for answers. Nostalgia was ripping me from reason and chills me. It was turning into my enemy and winning. Closer and closer, I reached toward the toy, but just when my finger barely touched its soft fur, I sensed an evil presence from behind. And the unwelcome nostalgia I wanted to leave finally obeyed my wishes. But then terror took its place. My body felt like it had a mind of its own, because without thinking, I stopped touching the animal and slowly turned around. The darkness had consumed me again, but this time it was different. In the darkness, I saw a pair of two red, glowing eyes, scorching like fire. My breath was hitched in my throat, and I could feel myself trembling. I couldn't move. Fright has a firm, strong grip on my nerves and muscles. Suddenly, I found my windpipe close in and cut my breathing. I tried to take deep breaths, but it feels like my windpipe refuses to take any air. I fell to my knees. My lungs were burning with the lack of oxygen they were getting. My vision was getting blurry and turning dark and all in an instant. Then, black. Instantly, my eyelids shut open and I jumped from my pillow. My heart rammed against my ribcage like a wild animal. My lungs were taking in air happily and greedily. I was covered in my own now cold sweat, and I felt myself trembling. I haven't had a nightmare like that in a long time. I forgot the aftermath. My gray sweater stuck to my flesh uncomfortably, and I smelt like a dead cat on the sidewalk. Above all, I forgot to take off my shoes. I shifted my legs to the floor and bent forward to take off my black Vans, along with my striped black and white ankle socks. The softness of the carpet sends nostalgia chilling me to the very core. Thankfully, with less of an impact and control it had over me in my dream, I was able to shake it off like unwanted fleas. I walked to my dresser and pulled out things I needed for my usual shower routine. Underwear, bra, orange tank top, polka dot shorts, vibrant red brush, and a blue sponge. After mentally checking off everything I had, I headed straight towards the bathroom. Once there, I locked the door right after closing it and dumped my clothes on top of the lid of the toilet. I turned on the shower water and changed the temperature to steaming hot. I rid myself of my sweat-covered filthy clothes and disposed of them in the dirty clothes hamper. I stepped into the shower and closed the curtains and let the hot water impale my skin. 15 to 20 minutes later, I stepped out of the shower and into the steam-filled bathroom. My skin went from sticky pale to